What's up, guys? All right, we are back on the Beast flipping stick for the final time, so stick around. Okay, last time you saw this thing, we had about 10 coats of epoxy starting to build the handle up. While you were away, I put the labels on it in the handle area here. Nathan's name. We had the Beast. I went ahead and did the hook keeper and the serial number for FDX. And now it's time to finish this thing up. This is really looking better than I expected. It's going to take probably 6 or 7 more coats of epoxy to get this shape in the grip area that I'd like and that Nathan wants. So it's going to be a bit more time involved, but you don't want to watch epoxy dry. So I'm going to go ahead and start the spiral wrap, and we'll throw a few more coats on and we'll see how that gets us. So y'all stick around. I'm going to do a standard spiral wrap. I'll do a video just on the spiral wrap and why we do them and then how to do them. But what we're going to do is we're going to start with the stripper guide on what would be the top of the blank here, closest to the reel seat. We're going to go with this tan thread. This is the reel that Nathan wants to put on this rod, and it's got a really nice tan cork grips that I coated in epoxy flooring a couple months ago, just so the cork doesn't wear out. It really is a cool look. We've done quite a few cork or epoxy over cork handles before, but these turned out really nice. So we're gonna get started on this, so y'all stick around. Okay, stripper guide is done. I don't know how much of that you got. Cameras and I aren't playing well together today, but it's done. It's on top of the blank. We're getting ready to do the transition guide, which is 90 degrees from the top or bottom of the blank. Here it is. And the reason I like it 90 degrees, and it's always when you do a spiral, you're spiraling right or left based on the person's preference, where their reel handles are. And this is a right-handed reel. This is Nathan's. He prefers right-handed reels. So what I do is I place the transition guide, and it doesn't matter from a performance standpoint which side it goes on, but you put it on the reel handle side, and it almost always winds up on deck. Everybody sets their rod down with the reel handle up. So this transition guide being on the same side as the reel handle, it gets protected. The other guides, when you lay them down, they're either, they're parallel to the deck. The one that has any danger to it is your transition guide. So let's go ahead and get that one going. I got it laid out here. I'm gonna use my handy dandy straight edge to get it lined up. I'm gonna place it in its location. Like that. I'm going to take the back side foot down to the blank to hold it. Maybe. Check your measurement. Perfect. Good. Now let's get started. Okay, now we are on the first running guide, or the first guide that's actually on the bottom of the blank of the spiral wrap. This is when they get tricky. They get small. Tricky, not hard. Tricky, difficult for my fingers. I have some issues from years of construction work. And let's see if I can get my fingers to do what they're supposed to do today. Not likely. Okay, I got my guide tool here, or guide alignment tool. That's where it goes. Alright, I got it tied down now. Get the wrapping. Got a pin the thread like I always do on the back side of the guide to the blank. Start my wrap. My eyeballs. Now I'm going to wrap up close behind this guide, and then I'm coming over the top of it just across the tape to hold the front edge, the front tip of the guide down as close to the blank as possible to make it easy for that first thread to jump up on the toe of the guide. Alright, I just want to slide down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple wraps up on the flat of the guide foot. I've got 3, let's do 4. Alright, now you should be able to see that. I've got 4 wraps up on top of the guide foot, not on the ramp or the toe, because it was wanting to slide down. So what I did that for is I'm going to pull all 4 of those down at once. And get them to stay in place. On the toe of that ramp. So I'm going to slide them down. You can do this with your burnishing tool. Do it with a pencil or the pencil eraser. You can do it with, and that didn't work. My guide turned because I was talking to you and not paying attention to what I was doing. So what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to back this back off. 4 turns. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to pull a thread back on my thread bobbin here. Reposition this guide properly, hoping I can hold it in place. Alright, we're going to try that 4 again. So I'm going 1, I'm up on top of the flat part. We're actually going to do more than 4 this time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let's try sliding it down carefully. Just taking a little bit at a time, filling in this gap, and slowly sliding these threads down the toe of that guide foot. Alright, we'll put a couple more on it and we'll push those tight as well. go. I've got that entire toe covered. Still got a little bit of gap I'll have to work out. Not that big a deal. Perfect. Alright, now I'm going to pull this tape out of the way carefully. Put our thread pull in. There's another one. Jumped. Clip it. Pull it through. Pin in your tag. Pull some tension. Cut the tag. We have a little bit of a burr there, but we'll fix that before we go to epoxy. And there you go. There's the first running guide. I got 6 more of those to do, so I'll see you when we get done. Stay around. The only thing significantly different about this tip, typically, you know, just glue them on and then a little epoxy. This one has the dagger that we're going to wrap to hold down before we put epoxy on it. And there we have it. One heavy duty size 8 tube, tip top with a spike, ready for battle in the salad. Now we'll do a quick alignment of these and put some epoxy on them. Stick around. All right, we're about to wrap it up. Now here's something that you guys haven't seen yet. I used it quite extensively in a paracord handle wrap I did on a frog gig. I videoed that. It'll be coming out in a couple weeks. But what this is, it's very thin. It's called CP Extra. It's made by Voodoo Rods. It is a very thin 1-part epoxy. Smells a lot like fingernail polish remover and will likely run me out of here pretty quickly. So what you do is you just put it on very thin. Like you say, it's almost like well, it is a liquid. It's a very loose liquid. We're going to coat the threads. What it does is it's a color preservative and a thin layer of epoxy. This is color fast nylon thread, but every time you take a lighter color nylon thread and put epoxy straight on it, it's going to darken it somewhat, even the color fast. So if it's not color fast, it almost all turns black. So we're going to do this real quick. I'm opening the door, turning the fan on. We'll do, listen to the music because this is going to be bad. Y'all hang around. Now this stuff is darkening it, but it will come back as soon as it dries. This will be the same color as that light tan that we started with. And this dries in about 20 minutes, and we could put a coat of epoxy on it, and Nathan can fish it tomorrow. Except we still got a few coats left to do in the handle. Him and Quentin are fishing in a 2-day tournament starting tomorrow morning. I hope they do well. Fishing for Team AE, representing the community. Pretty awesome. Hopefully we'll see some Instagram pictures of them here by this time tomorrow, catching big fish. Okay, that's it. 2 quick coats and seal this stuff back up because it will get you. It smells a lot like model airplane glue. I don't know if you guys are nerds like I was when I was younger. Model cars, model airplanes, that's what it smells like. Pretty potent. It's burning the nose hairs at the moment. I'm going to put this in dry mode, and then I'm going to start working on the last few coats of epoxy on the handle. It's the only thing that's not complete. I'll put a coat of epoxy on these threads. We've got 2 or 3 coats of epoxy left here, and that'll be it. Thanks for watching, guys. If this is the first video you've seen on this channel, watch this video next. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.